Hi fans, and welcome to this Week 8 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Last week the Wolverines hosted West Allegheny in a huge interclassification matchup, and the Wolverines beat the Indians 22-15 at the Wolverina. We're going to sit down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak to review last week's victory over West A, preview this week's huge Southeastern Conference matchup against Mount Lebanon, and we'll also let you see highlights of last Friday's game. All of that and more on the pregame show here on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the pride of Woodland Hills football, the 2015 Wolverines.
Handoff, Miles Sanders running right, has a huge hole, and there goes Miles Sanders to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown Miles Sanders. Play action, Ross straight drop back, steps to his left, throws the ball out there, and it will be broken up at the last moment by Jeremiah Jones. He turned on the Jets, reached that right arm up and knocked the ball loose. Now 37 yards on the ground for Stevens, who takes the handoff, running to the left. He'll slide through one tackle, make it two, make it three as he runs to the near side right. Here comes Stevens inside of the 10. Good snap, hold down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. That will be caught on the run by the West A return man, who was off to the races to the near side, and this is bad news for the Wolverines as Brandon Lipford will be forced out of bounds along the near boundary by Miles Sanders. Ross in the shotgun, he rolls to his right, throwback screen to the left-hand side, it's complete to Matt Holmes, and Holmes trying to dance around Jamon Dunn, but Dunn did a fantastic job shedding a blocker over on that far sideline. Good snap, good hold, the kick up, and Opsatnis. Kick is good. Low snap, Joel Shaw scoops up the football. He's got the first down and more, inside of the 30, brought down at the 29-yard line. Miles Sanders takes the handoff on the counter. He's got a burst of speed to the 25, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. He dives to the pylon. It's a Woodland Hills touchdown. Snap high, handoff, White, running right. Finds a hole. He's off to the races, spinning his way forward. Draw handoff. Stevens, he's got some room running to the near side left. Inside of the 30, inside of the 25, and he'll be brought down inside of the 20 at the 19-yard line. Handoff to Stevens, has a gaping hole. He's inside of the 5. He's dragging black jerseys with him. He'll cross the goal line, and it's a 2-point game. The ball loose on the carpet. It's scooped up by West Allegheny. Dancing with it is the fullback, and he will be dumped down to the turf, and the 2-point conversion attempt fails, and the Wolverines dodge a bullet. Snap high, Stevens bobbles it, he falls down, he laterals it to White, who runs to the far side left. He cuts it inside, now cuts it outside. Kenny White still on his feet, and he'll be spun down at the 22-yard line, and a broken play turns into a West A first down. Good snap, hold down, the kick is up, and the field goal is good. Jamon Dunn and Miles Sanders, the deep men for the Wolverines. Jamon Dunn will catch this ball at the 3-yard line. To the 10, to the 20 as he's got a crease, to the 25, sliding to the far boundary to the 30-yard line, to the 35, cutting to the near side, across midfield, and here comes Jamon Dunn, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown. It's flag free, and the Wolverines seize the lead on the kickoff return for a touchdown by the future Robert Morris Colonial.
Excellent job by Jamon Dunn.
Cooper, shotgun, handoff, Sanders cuts right, cuts it back left, crosses the goal line, and the Wolverines are up by 7 points, 22-15. Handoff, Stevens, met at the line of scrimmage, he's undercut by Miguel Cobbs. The rest of the Wolverines are there to shove him down to the turf. Pitch to the left, Stevens running, he's undercut shy of the line of scrimmage. It'll be a turnover on downs, and that may just about do it as Woodland Hills with a big defensive stop. We are the Woodland Hills Wolverines. Since 1987, we've been a part of some of the most electrifying football games in Western Pennsylvania, and we've established a national reputation of excellence. Whether you're a former player, a Woody High alum, a parent, or a fan, you're part of our Wolverine family. And now you can join us by becoming a part of our new booster club, the Wolverine Nation. Visit WHFBA.org and see how your donation can help our student athletes while earning you unique benefits. We're more than just a booster club. We are the Wolverine Nation. Hi again, fans, and welcome back to this Week 8 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Adam Gusky here, sitting down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. And Coach Novak, before we talk about this week's game against Mount Lebanon, let's take a look back to last week's game over West Allegheny, a game that simultaneously meant nothing and just about everything. It was just such a huge football game.
Going into the game, we knew they had a very good team. They had some big linemen up front. They matched us, and had some good running backs, and we're similar types of teams. And they're a very good defensive team also. Everybody talks about their running attack and their line, but their defense is what wins their games and wins championships, and they had a very good defense. I was real proud of our boys in the effort. It was a pride thing, two of the top teams last year and this year in their prospective classes, and last year we lost in overtime up there, so it was more important, I think, to our guys than it was to their guys this year, coming down here and playing it. And it was a great football game. Again, went down to the wire, and both teams made a lot of good plays, and it went back and forth, and we were fortunate to come out on top.
You talked about West A's defense. How about your defensive performance, holding a pretty potent running attack to just 15 points?
I was real happy with the defense, and we made mistakes. We made mistakes on offense and defense, and we're going to correct them. And I think when you play a good team, you learn from it, and you get better from it. So, but our defense bent a little bit. They had a great running attack. We held him below his standard of performance, but we'd like to have done better. But it was we kept them out of the end zone. They had a couple field goals and a touchdown, but we kept them out of the end zone, and that was our goal, and we thought if we keep them under 20 that we could win the football game, and it worked out that way.
Coach, let's talk about Miles Sanders. Had a little bit of a rocky start after his first carry. He fumbled a couple, but got his legs underneath him, ran for a 73-yard touchdown, and really rolled for the rest of the football game.
You can't blame Miles always. The one fumble was on an exchange. It was a quarterback, running back exchange right there at the snap, and there's a big timing thing in there, and it just didn't mesh. And after being off so long, this is almost 3 weeks since he played a game. He's a little rusty in that area. And, the exchange, it'll get better as more we do it. But that was the one fumble. The other one, he made a great run, and at the end of the run, he got hit from behind, and the ball was knocked out. But we'll correct that. He's holding it a little bit loosely. Other than that, he had a great football game. He has great speed, great athleticism. He made some great plays on defense too. So, I was real happy with Miles' performance. And, Joel didn't have all the yards, but he had some great blocks and some great plays on defense too. We decided to, as you would say, smash face it with them, and they line up with two tight ends a lot, and we lined up, and, we were just going at it, off tackle to off tackle, back and forth, both teams, and very little passing, and, we felt it would give us the best chance to win the game, not to give him that opportunity. So, it worked out for us.
Let's talk some about that smash mouth football. You brought in Stephen Rickard, changed his jersey number, moved him to tight end. I thought that was pretty effective.
Yeah, Steve did a real nice job. He's kind of our all-purpose guy. He can play anywhere. He can play tight end, plays tackle. He started a number of games at tackle. He's our center, plays center. He and Lamont Spratley rotated center. And like I said before, we have 6 senior offensive linemen, and we kind of rotate them in and out with Lamont and Wilford Clark playing defense to give him a break. We got some different options on offense, but it also gave us this option to go with another tight end and have a big senior-oriented offensive front to run the football.
Let's talk about the special teams, and obviously the big focus has got to be that 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Jamon Dunn.
We had 4.5 minutes after they kicked another field goal to go ahead, 15-14, and I thought it was enough time to run the football to score, but Jamon just made it an electrifying play. He had a couple nice blocks on it, but he broke some tackles, made a couple guys miss, and just outran everybody else. It was a phenomenal run. It's kind of like the one that we had last year up at Bethel Park at the end of the game, where Art Tompkins broke one for a touchdown to win the game after they had just gotten the lead on a bobble play. And we were able to win that football game the same type of fashion.
Coach, let's stick with the special teams and talk about the kicker, Thomas Sullivan Foley. After missing just a couple of PATs early in the season, he's really settled in well.
Yeah, this is Tom's first year with us, and just you get better at things as repetitions come. And for a first-year kicker, he's doing very well. We're happy with him. We had to switch shoulders when Michael Whitehurst broke his shoulder. We had to bring in Jermaine Wynn, and Jermaine's doing a nice job. So we got a 4-year snapper and record, so that kind of helps things out too.
Well, Coach, it's starting to become late in the season, and obviously injuries start to build up, and we saw Jamon Dunn miss a week with an injury. Obviously, Miles Sanders missed a couple of weeks with an injury. Now I understand the defense is starting to be plagued with the injury bug.
Yeah, we had quite a few guys injured this game. Tariq Thompson missed with sickness. He missed last week's game, but he came back for this week's game. He got injured during the game, and we had to put his backup in, Rashawn McKnight, who's a good player for us. And then Demone Johnson got injured his shoulder. We had to put Aseed Page Jones in, who's, they're juniors and they're good players, but they're not the caliber, especially be thrown in this game. They did a nice job. The boys worked real hard. That was the series they scored their touchdown on, but I don't know if it had been any different, but those two young guys are going to be very good. They're juniors. They'll be very good next year. Dana Wilson went out late in the game. We had to put a sophomore in, Rodney Denard, and actually on that 4th and 2 at the end, Wilfred Clark came over from the backside tackle, and they ran a wide play to his opposite side. And he came over and made the initial hit, which was a powerful hit, and Rodney helped him out there where he didn't make the 2 yards for the first down. And we were able to get the ball and run the clock out. So, we had some young guys getting some experience and, helping us out and helping us win a big football game.
Let's talk about another big football game this week against Mount Lebanon. Both teams undefeated, both in conference and overall, and this game will go a long way to deciding the Southeastern Conference Championship.
Yeah, this is a very big game, Adam. Every week I say this is the biggest game of the year, but this is the biggest game of the year right now. And Mount Lebanon has a very good football team. They're well coached. Coach Junko is the quarterback coach, and that kind of is the key to their offensive attack. Their quarterback is a 3-year starter, the Jenkins boy. He's also an outstanding basketball player and baseball player. He's just an all-around athlete. Very good player, and he leads the team because they have a zone read offensive attack where the quarterback is the key person reading that or running it. And along with that, he's been an outstanding passer. I think that's what they really improved on this year, their passing game. They've done a lot with their passing game, and they have 3 or 4 receivers that are phenomenal kids. They do a nice job. So with a big offensive line led by the one young man, he's going to Villanova. Big kid, he's 6'4", 280, comes off the ball real well. So they got a very nice team with a lot of weapons on offense and a very smart quarterback who runs that offense very well. They come out of the huddle, they line up, and then they'll call audibles, and coach will signal in plays, and they'll change it with whatever defensive front you give them and try to make adjustments too. And they do a nice job with it.
With that type of offense, is there any concern, especially with how aggressive your defense has a tendency to be? We've seen several offsides penalties against your defense.
Coach Carter does a great job. All his drills are designed around getting off on the ball snap versus the cadence. And lots of times when they get in there, especially in short yardage, and people are barking out hard calls on them, they were thinking about making a play instead of focusing on that football. And it's something we work on a lot.
Let's talk about the Blue Devil defense. What can we expect from them?
A lot of the same guys play defense too. So, they have some very good athletes on defense also. And I think that's been the big part of why they're successful, because they have a very good defense. They played Bethel Park. They were down and came back, and their defense just played great in the second half, and that enabled them to win the football game. They beat Penn Hills, good Penn Hills football team. Again, a great defense, held them to 7 points, and they have a lot of great athletes. So those are two of their last most frequent games that they won against two very good football teams and traditional powers. So, they have a lot of guys back from last year, and, we had a lot of big plays last year against them defensively, which gave us the lead early, and we were able to build on that. But this year they're coming down here, and I'm sure it'll be a great football game again.
Coach, we talk about the alumni week in and week out, and it seems like our focus continues to shift back to the strong defense of the Pitt Panthers. They're now ranked number 25 in the country, and 5 Wolverines are such key contributors to that Panther D.
Adam, I'm so proud of those guys down at Pitt. All 5 of them. They worked very hard in high school, and they're down there. And you got to be in the defense you fit into, and I think this is the first one they all fit into. Starting to gel. Juan Price, he made some big plays the last couple of weeks down at Georgia Tech. He made a couple of other big plays. Lafayette Pitts, he's having a great year. Mike Caprera, he's starting to shine, and he's starting and playing and doing a lot of good things. KK Mosley Smith, he was on the cover of the last Pitt program when they played Virginia. Javante Pitts went down to Georgia Tech. He got in there and played a lot, made a lot of good plays. They use him because they know he's a good tackler, and they need somebody to come up and hit. And they put him in, and he did a great job. I think I mentioned them all down there. But I also had a visit from Quentin Jefferson this week. Got to meet his daughter, and his twins weren't there, but I met his daughter, real cute girl, and his wife, Nadia. I told him, I kicked your coverage, so you better keep this one. She's a beautiful girl. And he's getting ready, he's doing a great job at Maryland. He's getting ready for their game against Penn State this coming week.
You talked about how good the Woodland Hills players played this last game, but it was against your alma mater. How does that make you feel?
Well, it was, I always like to see Grant Field, but, I was rooting for I was rooting for Pitt. No, my roommate's down there, but he's a North Hills boy, but he's Southernized now. You couldn't even tell he's from Pittsburgh. He talks with that Southern accent. But no, I was rooting for Pitt. I got 5 boys. They're like my kids. Your family's your tightest. I love Georgia Tech. Had a great experience there. It's a great school, but University of Pittsburgh is my hometown, and we got the 5. We've had over 20 guys from Woodland Hills go to Pitt over the last 26 years, 27 years. So that's a lot of guys.
Coach, thanks a lot for your time. Good luck this week against the Blue Devils, and we'll talk to you again next week before the game at Penn Hills.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
We'll be back with more of the pregame show right after this here on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Hi, Wolverine fans. I'm Eric Schuley. The fall sports season came to a close this Monday night with the field hockey senior rec. Now let's take a look at some of the impressive stats of our Woodland Hills football team. Quarterback Deron Cooper has completed 23 passes for 384 yards and 7 touchdowns. He also has 149 yards on the ground. As for the running backs, Miles Sanders has rushed for 688 yards on 48 carries and 9 touchdowns. And he only needs 264 more yards to reach 4,000 for his career. Joel Shaw has collected 758 yards rushing on 68 attempts and 14 touchdowns. He is currently second in Quad A for the most touchdowns by a running back, behind McKeesport's Khalid Hudson, who has 19. Wide receiver Jamon Dunn has 5 catches for 113 total yards. He also has 2 punt return touchdowns, 1 kickoff return touchdown, and 1 receiving touchdown. After 7 games, the Wolverine defense has held teams to under 500 total rushing yards, and they've given up a total of only 80 points. The Wolverines' first-team defense hasn't allowed more than one touchdown in a game since Bethel Park on September 11th. That'll do it for this week's Wolverine Watch. We'll be back with more of the pregame show right after this. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, fans, let's see where the Wolverines stand in the Southeastern Conference. And now let's take a look at the MSA Sports WPIAL Quad A Top 10 rankings. Again, fans, we thank you for joining us for this Week 8 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. If you can't make it to the Wolverina this Friday night, you can tune in on our flagship radio station, AM 1550 WZUM, on the web at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com. Our radio broadcast can also be heard live and archived on msasports.net. You can tune in on Monroeville Comcast Cable Channel 13, Penn Hills Comcast Cable Channel 98, and Verizon Fios Channel 37. And don't forget, you can tune in to replays of Friday night's game on all of our television affiliates and on our YouTube channel. For everybody at the Woodland Hills Football Network, I'm Adam Gusky, and we'll talk to you again next week as the Wolverines take on Penn Hills. This has been a presentation of the Woodland Hills Football Network. Watch us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and as always, visit us at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com.